Hello, Brad here, just to say we're super proud that the Friday 5pm podcast is sponsored by the Malt Miller, the UK's best home brew store.
We use the Malt Miller for all of our homebrew experiments, as well as tapping them up for advice and binging on their awesome YouTube channel all the time.
That's why whenever we release a homebrew video, we put a recipe kit live on the Malt Miller, so you can brew with the exact same amazing ingredients that we did. The same ingredients used by pro brewers.
So alongside the Malt Miller's nitro-flushed hops, cold-stored yeast and milled-to-order malts, you can pick up recipe kits for our 5 Points Best Bitter, Russian River West Coast IPA, and now the fastest beer in the world, a hazy session IPA that goes from grain to glass in less than 48 hours.
Sign up to their newsletter at tinyurl.com/Malt Miller to get 5% off your first order. With the Malt Miller's amazing customer service and Johnny's 48-hour recipe, you could order the ingredients on a Monday and be drinking the beer by the weekend.
Speaking of which, it's Friday.
It's 5pm.
So enjoy this week's Friday 5pm podcast. It's Friday, it's 5pm, and I'm presuming that given this week's video, everybody is cracking a beautiful bottle-conditioned bottle of Hefeweizen. Are you, Bradley?
The original Hazy Boy, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, OG Hazy Boy.
OG Hazy Boy. Yeah, of course, mate. What a great style of beer. What an underrated style of beer. I don't know, why do you think people don't really think, I'll have a Hef? Do you think it's...
Well, I mean, the first thing I'd say is that actually it seems like a lot of people do, but I think just the outside of Bavaria, Germany, the love of Hefeweizen is too spread. It's not like there was a concentration on the west coast of America of people loving Hefeweizens like there was IPA, because it feels like, and I think that there was a comment from somebody saying like, every time I put out a video, I say Hefeweizen, nobody likes Hefeweizen, but it's amazing, and everyone goes, no, we all love Hefeweizen. So I feel like people, I mean, it is a very, very popular beer and sells a lot, particularly in Germany. But in the sort of, I guess, the craft beer bubble that we live in, no one cares. And I think there's two reasons. One is there's very little hop character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And most people that get into craft because they discover the absolute joy that is hop varietals. And the other reason is, and I'm still confused by this, and I think I came across a little bit confused in the video about this, is I'm not quite sure when we're supposed to drink Hefeweizens. Because they still don't scream summer to me, and yet that's what the Germans say they're for.
Yeah, so maybe it's a textural thing? They're kind of a little bit thicker, aren't they, than a beer you might want to drink, to just knock back in the summertime, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is.
And it's so interesting to me that the nation that thinks you can do that is the nation that brews Helles and German Pilsner, which is exactly what the rest of the world considers summer beer. Yeah, it's a really weird thing.
They're like, we've got a summer beer for you. It's a little bit soupy and hazy, but it's delicious and refreshing. But also we've got a like the most refreshing beer style in the world, which we also is a summer
but that's
beer.
For winter.
That's for winter. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. They've got nothing wrong with how they've made the beers, but maybe everything wrong with how they're drinking them. Don't know. I'm not going to teach them how to suck eggs. They're like one of the most amazing beer cultures in the world. But yeah, seems odd to not drink. Yeah,
I do kind of know the reason.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know whether it's the reason, but it's certainly a justification for it, and that is the fact that Weissbier would have been brewed in summer in Bavaria historically, but we're talking pre-refrigeration, pre-1870s, because you could ferment fairly safely a Hefeweizen in a warm summer, whereas lagers would likely get infected and full of esters and phenols and be quite gnarly. So historically, they would have been brewing and potentially drinking Weiss beers in summer and not the lagers, which were lagering away at the end of the cold season. But you'd have thought refrigeration would have done away with that, as it has with most beer culture, as a result of the fact you could brew whatever you wanted, whenever you wanted.
I think so. Then we can say they've got so much reverence around their beer traditions, their beer culture, especially in Bavaria and all these places, that it's a cultural thing then, isn't it? That's just carried on generation to generation. No, this is the time of year to drink it. And maybe they almost don't know why they're drinking these things
why they're doing it
at those times of the year, but we know why. But it's like not necessary anymore. But it's tradition, Johnny, and we know tradition is really powerful and important as well. But also, it's nice to break tradition, isn't it? So do you think when we go and get Crispy Boys out there at height of summer, is that kind of, that's not looked down upon, is it? Because they're doing it as well. But do you think they find that a bit weird?
I don't know. I'd love to know. Perhaps there's some German listeners that could elucidate whether maybe it's an older generation thing to drink Weissbier in summer.
Yeah.
And the younger kids are all just... I mean, I'd imagine they're all just drinking lager just because that is the way that the world has gone.
Yeah. I know...
But I doubt it would be looked down. I've been in Germany in summer a lot, and it's never been frowned upon when I've ordered a Helles or a Pilsner in summer. I don't think it's that big a trend. It's just that I think a lot of people that generally drink regularly and generally drink lager might switch and have a couple of ice beers in a beer garden.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed.
I guess like some lager drinkers might have a cider in summer in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Even though well-made, proper, naturally fermented, full juice cider. I mean, it is a brilliant summer drink. It's like a session wine. It's 7-8% and beautifully aromatic and gluggable, but it's not. It doesn't really make sense. No. Given the ciders that we drink today. It's all, I mean, seasonality in brewing, as I just explored in my book, A Year in Beer, is all messed up. And I think craft brewers could do a lot more to try and reattach it to the natural world a bit. Speaking of which,
yes,
it is, of course, green hop season.
Mate, yeah, it is.
Which is, I think it's the best time of year to be a hop geek.
It's best time of year to be a hop geek, worst time of year to be an actual hop, I guess, because you're about to get ripped out of the ground and either boiled immediately or heated in a furnace type condition to dry you out.
Yeah, it's a pretty brutal death, isn't it? Either way. Well, one's a very slow... Yeah, one you're slowly dried to a crisp, and the other one you're immediately boiled alive.
Boiled alive or dehydrated, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a great time to be, I guess, caterpillars and different bugs that might get caught up in those green hops as well.
Oh, yeah. Wowzers, in the trousers.
Which is always a risk, and when we did our video with 5 points, that was described to us. I mean, because they make, I think, purely vegan beer, and possibly the green hop isn't.
Yeah.
But, so if you don't know what green hop season is, it is essentially the time when the hops in the northern hemisphere are being harvested. That will go on from late August through all of September and possibly tucking into October. And there's a great tradition in the UK, particularly around the hop field, so particularly Kent and Herefordshire, where local breweries will collect undried hops from these farms and toss them straight into the brew. And what you get is loads of aromas and flavours that you wouldn't necessarily get from sort of the processed hop, because when you dry these hops, you do remove some aroma, and that's fine with the big aromatic ones, and it's pretty much fine with the British ones, but you do get a lot more, I would say, sort of green, grapey skin, tannic kind of character from a green hop beer. The risk is that the hops can go bad. You have to use them within at least 24 hours, but ideally a couple of hours of them being picked. And B, you don't actually know at that point the alphas, beta, the oil content and acid content of the hops. So working out the bitterness of these beers is a little bit sort of thumb in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously you can't dry hop with these hops really, because they're probably coated in all kinds of stuff. And probably the hops would kill that stuff, but generally it's perceived as a silly idea. So you only really use them hot side, which can slightly limit the aromas and stuff like that you might get. And it probably feels against the rules to then dry hop with dried hops.
Dry hop with dried, yeah. I was just trying to think, Johnny, is this anything remotely like making a cup of tea? Because you use dry tea leaves and obviously bags of tea. We have, you can have hops in a bag and obviously dried hops. And then obviously the green hops. There are types of teas where they use the fruit, the fresh green leaf. Maybe I know you're not a tea expert, but I'm just trying to rack my brain if there's any sort of synergy.
Don't know. In Morocco, they'll make mint tea with fresh mint leaves.
I guess, yeah.
That's about all I can really think of. I mean, there must be sort of fresh leaf tea.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I mean, I'm not sure there really is a synergy. It's such a unique idea that we would.
I was wondering if we could claim that there were any sort of more health benefits from using green hops. I wonder if there are, because maybe it's almost like would you call it a stewing process rather than something it's less refined, isn't it? Because it's straight from the field, and it's got more kind of hop matter in there. Don't know. Is it maybe it's a healthier drink, Johnny? I'm trying to rebrand green hop festivals to maybe being some sort of health alternative. If you're a health fanatic, get hammered at a green hop festival. Maybe
if you're a health fanatic, don't drink.
Yeah, it's true.
I would. Well, sorry. I mean, that goes against my own belief that actually drinking in moderation. Can elongate your life when you balance the health, physiological versus the mental. I don't know. I don't think that the health benefits are going to be the way that we really explode green hop culture across the UK. I think it's going to be more like, if you want provenance, it doesn't get more provenancy, provenential, providency,
sounds good,
provident, than literally driving to pick up the hops from your local farm, driving them back and using them instantly.
It's cool, isn't it? I mean, like, it makes me want to buy a pickup truck and a hop farm and a massive brew house and other things. But yeah, flat cap, and it makes me want to go and rip, like pull those binds down, get them straight in there, Johnny. And I think it's a cool thing. We should all, if we're able to go to green hop festivals, you should go to one because they're pretty 100%. Exciting. Yeah.
So they will be happening all over the Northern Hemisphere, wherever hops are grown. So expect to see green hop beers in Belgium, Southern Germany, Czech Republic. I've been to hop festivals in all three of those places. They're incredible. And then the Pacific Northwest, of course. Yeah. There'll be lots and lots of IPAs being made with Citra. I'm not sure what Citra wet hop beers are really like, to be honest. But the idea kind of excites me. So if there are festivals, do go down. We know that Shepherd Neame have one this very weekend. In fact, it's happening as you listen to this. So if you live anywhere near, quick, get in a car. Well, ideally take public transport. Otherwise, most of them tend to happen towards the end of October when there's been a bit more time. So I guess Shepherd Neame are using the app, whatever is harvested first, which... Oh, damn, I was talking to Greg from 5 Points about what is harvested first. I can't quite remember now, but they might be using the very first, earliest picks. A lot of breweries will do 5 or 6 different brews, so I'll have to wait throughout the season. And we are, in fact, waiting because we are going to be filming 5 Points, one of the 5 Points wet hop brews and their hop festival for our upcoming season of Keep Cask Alive 2.
Yeah, very exciting.
And we're still waiting on the dates for the picks, which makes me think the harvest... And actually, I did chat to Charles Farham's. The harvest is quite late this year, I think, because of all the incredibly wet weather. And they are saying it's going to be a pretty good harvest. They said, I think the yields are going to be a little bit low in the UK, but the quality should be very good. Or they were worried about all the wind that we got at the start. Was it the start of this week? We had some really windy conditions.
Yeah, we had some pretty crazy winds going on.
Yeah, and that can bruise the cones, which can turn them a bit brown, obviously start killing the aromatic oils and stuff that are in there. So they're a little bit worried about the wind ruining what was going to be a very healthy crop. But hopefully that hasn't... well, the wind's died now completely, so hopefully it's all good. So we'll have a great video. Down at Hewkins again. Third video at Hewkins.
Oh, getting some love.
So, he's getting some serious love, but then he does grow truly incredible British-style hops. And we're also going to be going back to Charles Farham's as well for the series to talk. We're going to be following the brew, hopefully a Buxton brew, like a modern sort of modern British hopped cask ale with Buxton and Charles Farham as part of the documentary as well. So there's lots of fresh... Well, that won't be fresh, but fresh in terms of time, hops going into the series.
Yeah, man. I saw some other UK hop farmers on TV this week. I think it was at the weekend on maybe the Matt Tebbett food thing that's on BBC Two. Can't remember what it's called. Sunday.
Saturday Kitchen?
Yeah, maybe Saturday Kitchen. These guys on Tibs Farm that were both sort of brothers, the Tibs brothers, I think they were called. Quite sort of TV, handsome-looking guys. And they had... I can't remember the names. The guys... Oh, God. A northern chef. I can't remember what his name is. He's got grey hair. Quite long grey hair.
You can tell the preparation for these podcasts is second to none.
He's Marcus Waring was out in a field.
Marcus Waring was out in a hop field?
Dude. He was out in a hop field and he was like rubbing hops and talking about how he was going to use the unprocessed wet hop in a cordial, and then he didn't actually do anything. It was like one of those clip shows where you didn't get to see what happened. He was talking about using
you wouldn't want to
No, mate,
that'd be
that's
too
what
bitter.
I thought. That's what I thought as well. But he was like, I'm really excited about all the kind of how this is on the nose and everything. Obviously, he hadn't tasted it. He was just sniffing it.
Try sticking it in your mouth, Marcus.
Yeah, he wouldn't have had
any
idea how incredibly bitter it was. But he was loving it. But yeah, the Tibbs brothers, Tibs Farm, they seem like nice guys. I looked at them afterwards, and they seem to have a very scenic farm near Rye somewhere, and you can go and do like pick your own strawberries and all sorts of stuff. So they're like diversifying farmers basically.
Right.
So they do hop stuff, but
do they do pick your own hops? You can take them home for brews.
That I don't know. But what I did see on their Instagram was that you could go there and buy a vine as a home decoration. So they're selling vines.
Oh yeah. They do that at Hewkins as well.
Yeah. 15,
for weddings and
15
stuff like that.
quid a vine. So I don't know if that's a good price or not. But
well, it's not good hops. I think they have a field of slightly
yeah.
crappy hops for that. Yeah,
yeah.
Ones that just look beautiful on the vine, but aren't actually particularly helpful from a flavour perspective.
Yeah, I thought that's good marketing, boys. Anyway, giving a shout out to a different one. There are how many hop farmers at present in the UK? It's a worryingly dwindling amount, isn't it?
Yeah, we're down to under 50. It's like 48. And when we did the documentary, the time is now, we were at 54, I think. So we've lost another 10%, basically.
Yeah, so basically what we need to do is get all of these 40 whatever on Saturday Kitchen with various different chefs.
One by one. That's most of the year covered.
Yeah. I'm sure it would have helped their business no end being on there at the weekend. So
anyway, it can't hurt.
Shout out to those guys. Yeah.
So I gather you haven't done much beery stuff, but I've been drinking Madri in a field.
Yeah, I saw that. Do you want to explain yourself? I mean, I know why you drank it, because video and field and limited amount of options. Was that British Summertime? Is that what the festival is?
No, it was All Points East.
All Points East, right? Yeah.
All Points East, the one in Victoria Park. Which there was a craft beer bar that had Gypsy Hill and Signature, but we arrived a little bit late for a reason I am going to explain to you in a second. But so it was sold out by the time we got there, because everyone took a look at the options, which was Madri or Sharp's Doom Bar, I think, or Sharp's Pilsner. So, and the Sharp's Pilsner was $3.30 for the same price as a $4.40 of Madri. So, unfortunately, I did consume quite a bit of Madri. And I mean, in the video, I said, it's fine as a macro lager, it's all right. But it was just hilarious that, having done a whole video slagging it off, I then had to drink it for 7 or 8 hours at a festival.
Yeah.
But the reason I was late is, well, A, because they said that the closest entrance to the festival was Hackney Wick. And I was like, sweet, grab a roadie from Beer Merchant's Tap and walk there. It is the closest. If anybody's going next year, it's the closest to the festival, Hackney Wick Station, but it's not the closest to the entrance.
Great.
So we walked for a long time, and I finished my roadie before we got there, which is not the idea of a roadie. You're supposed to neck it in front of the security. Anyway, so we had a long old walk, And then got through the ticket bits, went through the bag search, and then I was walking to meet my friend who was just in front of me, just got through a little bit quicker because he didn't have a bag, and I felt something sniffing around at my feet.
Oh dear.
And I looked down and there was a little Labrador, little black lab.
Yeah.
And then a policeman came up and was like, "You've been signalled.
Oh, wow.
The dog thinks you've got drugs on you."
Oh, shit. Okay.
So then he said, "So if you have got drugs, give them to me and you can just go into the festival. No,
Wow.
There'll be no further action."
Wow.
And I was like, "Well, I don't have any drugs." And he's like, "Well, then you're going to have to go for a full search."
Oh, no. Jesus.
So also what I haven't said is that it took ages to get in because the trains took us nearly 3 hours to get from
Whoa.
North Hertfordshire to Hackney Wick.
Fun times.
Using a taxi via Luton, which is just about the worst phrase in the English language.
Christ.
And so then I had to go and wait with a bunch of other very confused middle-aged white people, because let's not forget this was the Death Cab for Cutie 20-year anniversary tour. And none of us had drugs on us, and we were all furious, and I had to wait for about half an hour to get searched. Got a full search from a lady. They didn't explain that it was going to be a full search, so she was putting hands where no lady's hands should go on a married man. And they did not explain to me that it was that kind of search.
Right.
And I had a slightly freaky moment where my friend had accidentally brought a pair of his son's socks
Right.
in his pocket.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Can I put this in your bag?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then the person who was searching my bag properly got out the pair of socks.
Oh, no.
And which looks like a great place to hide drugs, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Anyway, as she opened it, it exploded with powder.
Oh, shit. What?
Which was actually very fine, quite white sand from a sandbox that we'd all been playing in with our kids earlier that day.
Sure, Johnny. Sure it was.
So I had to be
Sad, eh?
like, "We've been in a sandbox all afternoon.
Yeah.
Please
Wow.
believe me, that's definitely sand." And it was quite clearly sand once, after she processed it a couple of seconds later. But the immediate reaction was me being like, "I'm going to jail."
That would have been even better if you'd forgotten what the socks were as well. And you were just like, "Oh my God, I'm a drugs mule."
Well,
wow.
I did forget about the socks because I'd already said, they asked you the classic question. They're like, "Did you pack the bag yourself?" And as she got that sock out, I was like, "Well, I did put that in, but I didn't check it."
Yeah. Your small child is smuggling drugs. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's bizarre, man. So nothing came of it. What kind of dog was it? A Labrador? Wow. They're normally nice, aren't they? What a little sod.
I mean, the dog was lovely.
well,
and
he wasn't.
so was...
Clearly had it in for you, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I was thinking through why he could have signalled me. I have a theory, and my wife has a theory. The theory I have is that I was walking through Victoria Park, endless groups of people smoking weed, probably using up all their drugs before they go in.
Yeah.
And we had to walk through all of that. So I was like, possibly I picked up that, but then why didn't my friend get searched? The theory that my wife had is that apparently, and I'm used to this aroma now, apparently the Brudio smells of hops.
Yeah.
When you walk in.
It stink. Well, no, it doesn't stink. Sorry, that's harsh.
Stink? Wow.
No. But it
it's a
can be
brewery space.
pungent. Yeah, exactly. And we know what hops are related to.
Yeah, exactly. So that was the other thinking. And I had, obviously, I filmed it on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So just under 5 days before, done an epic hop rubbing of about 12 varieties. So, yeah, it's one of those two things, or indeed both.
They've got 400 times the sniffing ability that we've got, haven't they, dogs?
Yeah.
So imagine he's only got to get a little whiff of those sticky, icky ops, and he would have been off thinking you were,
Yeah,
bloody,
and I was rubbing Strata, which, to
there
be
you go.
fair, is the dankest and stickiest of the ickiest. So.
Yeah.
I am putting I am a dog person as well. I'm putting no blame on the dog. He was doing his job, and I hope he got well rewarded for signalling me.
Yes.
But my reward was a warm Madri.
Yeah, it's not much for a reward, mate.
No.
But what a great story to tell to your grandkids. I don't know. Is that a great story? There was this one time, guys, I didn't do drugs at a festival, but I got touched up by a female police officer
And a black
against
lab.
my will, and a black Labrador, and it's because of my love of hops.
Yeah.
But I do like the child sock with loads of powder inside it. That's a nice touch.
It was not at the time. Heart in mouth moment.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
so yeah, that's my adventures in beer. I did have on the way over. I had a lovely Marsbroy Helles from Beer Merchant's Tap. So I did drink one good beer that day.
Great. Did you also get to see the bands that you wanted, or did this screw any of that?
Yeah. Well, no. So we managed to see the bands we wanted. We saw Phoenix and Everything. My friend was the session keyboardist. He's now going to work. Phoenix were incredible.
I love Phoenix, man. Did you see them at the Olympics? So good. They didn't sound very good at the Olympics, but that was the only bit of the Olympics I watched. The sound was awful, but they had like Phoenix that were kind of the closing ceremony. It was Phoenix. It was basically a tier of French house music and electronica. So they had Phoenix, they had Kavinsky. Can't even remember who else. Loads of I want to say Felix the House Cat. I can't remember. Oh, Air was on there as well, and it was basically like a supergroup mashup of all great French electronic music.
Very cool.
And they looked really cool, and it kept jumping around to different stages. Apparently, it broke the internet with Kavinsky Night Cool because it got Shazammed the most out of any song ever, because it was quite an interesting look that was going on when they went across to them, him and his singer, and apparently the most Shazams ever were when Night Cool came on, which is famously the music used at the beginning of Drive, the Ryan, what's his name? No, it's not Ryan, is it?
Gosling.
Ryan Gosling. It is Ryan Gosling, yeah. The Gosling driving film. That's a good film and a great soundtrack, and most Shazam thing ever now, apparently.
Well, there you go. Well, nobody needs to. Everyone was. So Phoenix was the band that were on before Death Cab for Cutie and Postal Service, and they were on the other stage. So lots of people left Phoenix early to get a good spot at Death Cab. We didn't do that because I love Phoenix, and as a result, we left that late. Because they knew that the only people left were people that absolutely loved Phoenix. They just went for it, and it was the end of their tour. So they put on an incredible show for the last sort of 3 tracks. And then on the way over, we bumped into my mate who was playing with Everything. And so by the time we got to Death Cab, we'd actually missed my favourite song from the album because they were playing Transatlanticism all the way through. So that was a bit frustrating. Oh. But actually, Postal Service were better live than Death Cab, I thought. They were absolutely amazing. I was a little bit nervous about what they'd be like, because obviously it is sort of, it's glitch electronica meets indie. There's a lot of laptop work and stuff, but they'd worked really hard to make as much live as they could and to make it a real show. And it was, songs like obviously when the intro to Such Great Heights comes in, it's just chills, but it's like Will Come Silhouettes and stuff like that were just amazing.
Beautiful.
So it was great, even with a warm Madri in your hand.
Yeah. Very romantic.
And I will say, I made a playlist for our Patreons of the music I'm into. If that interests you, I can put that. I'll put that link in the podcast description. We need to make one for you, Brad. Speaking of which, Bradley, I also need to get you while I'm away on holiday to add some songs to our Spotify playlist for the festival. Because not only will we play that when the DJ's not on, that will also inform the DJ, the wonderful DJ Ben Ryer. Who's going to be spinning tunes later in the evening session. Shout out, Ben.
Ben used to be in Fat Truckers, who are really cool, and he's a bit of a superstar DJ.
He's done some stuff with Jarvis Cocker.
Yeah, he's made
Gucci Sound System as well. He's played at the Verdant Tap Room. He plays London Craft Beer Festival and all that stuff every year. He's a big craft beer name and big DJ name and great sort of producer, electronic musician and DJ.
He's a top dude. He's a top guy as well. I'm excited to have Ben playing at the festival. He might bring a friend along, maybe. We don't know. I don't know if he said anything more about that, Johnny. But we're paying him a hefty amount of money that he might bring someone along with him. That's what I'm hoping.
And now we're just increasing the hype to the point where he has to find somebody.
Yeah.
But yeah, so afternoon tickets to the festival, I think they are sold out. or if they aren't, there's like literally 1 or 2 left. So if you want to come in the afternoon,
go grab them.
It's literally now or never, or possibly too late. But we have plenty of evening tickets left.
Yeah.
So please do, if you haven't bought your ticket yet, there's loads of evening sessions. We've got some incredible bottle shares, including Heady Topper. There'll be Orval and Monster Munch. There's amazing barbecue food. There is obviously Ben Reimer, the DJ. There's the free pours at Budvar and all the homebrew.
Morris dancing, Johnny. Morris dancing.
Well, that's in the afternoon. I'm trying to sell the evening tickets here.
Everyone's going to get a goodie bag that's going to have some chockies in it. It's going to have some other bits and bobs in it. It's going to have our amazing glassware in it. It's going to be super cool, mate. I always say that the party gets going in the evening. You know, it's like if you're maybe you're at a barbecue in the afternoon, which is super chill and lovely, and you're eating lovely food. We do have vegan barbecue there, as well as other food offerings. And then, you know, everyone gets a little bit merry, and then things get going in the evening, Johnny. You know, DJ ramps up, party gets off the hook. You know, I'm just thinking back to last year when we did those amazing tastings, and the evening ones got more raucous and more entertaining.
Sure did.
Every time, I thought.
Yeah, there's photos that we can't use for promo purposes because it did get a bit raucous. But yeah, tickets are available. Link in the pod description. Let's talk about this week's video. So I drank 17 Hefeweizens.
Shit.
To anybody that was concerned about me the day after, I was fine. I don't buy into this Hefeweizen making your stomach flip. I've never experienced that, and this week's video was no different. I felt great, and I polished off the Andex after I finished filming and just had a lovely day.
It looked like a lovely day.
Yeah, and I sat outside while the beers were being poured as well, and just revelled in the Bavarian garden feels. It was a good shoot day, but I do have to apologise for 2 glaring errors that crept into the edit, which I'm very, 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 very annoyed about. One is that I mixed up the Rothaus and the Rothaus AF in the text I put on the screen.
Yes.
So I apologise to anybody confused by that. I did drink the AF and clock it, and the other one, I just mixed them up when I wrote out the words. And the other one is that I drank, you may have noticed, and got a little bit confused at the end with where the notes were going because I drank a beer in the wrong order.
Oh, dear.
I skipped a beer and then had to go back when it was pointed out to me. So things got a little bit confused there, but the final results are accurate and in the right order, and everything's fine. Just two small errors that happen when you're drinking 17 Hefeweizens, I guess. Although it wasn't when I was editing. No excuse for that.
No. Well, it's bound to happen, isn't it, Johnny? But mate, it looked like you had a bloody fantastic time. I've got a chat from Stuart Hubbard here. We're all here for Johnny getting overexcited for Hefeweizens. Just look at his little face. So that was what I thought when I watched it. So I was getting his little face. I know you like a hef, so this must have been a fun ep to film.
Yeah, it was great. I wish I could have got my hands on some more classic hefs. The comments mentioned things like Hoff and König Ludwig and these other really great beers, but they're just not available in the UK, and we'd have had to have waited months to get hold of them somehow. So I went ahead with it because I wanted this out in time for Oktoberfest. Obviously, we don't drink Hefes at Oktoberfest, but generally people start to think about German beer at this time of year, so I wanted it out now.
Plus, I heard Treehouse wanted to record a similar video, so we needed to get it out so they could copy us, you know. So there you go.
Brutal. I don't want to start beef with Treehouse, but
you gotta laugh.
They do seem
you gotta
to be
laugh,
a couple
Johnny.
of weeks behind us.
If you don't laugh, you'd cry, Johnny, because we work so hard with our formats and our ideas. To have them just copied wholesale is shocking, in my opinion. But I'm not one to throw shade, but come on, guys. Treehouse, what are you playing at?
I think quite a lot of shade just got thrown.
Yeah.
Talking of shade being thrown, Dieter Lam 1819.
Oh yeah.
So this person says, so funny. We also don't call Erdinger a Weissbier or even a beer. It's an isotonic refreshment.
Yeah, I saw that one.
So I mean, yeah, when I tasted that, I kind of thought it might be a joke. I thought it was a Radler, basically, but I didn't want to say it because... Sorry, what do I mean? It tasted like a Radler, but it also had too much body and stuff to be one. So I didn't think it was a Radler, but I was like, maybe it is, and I didn't quite know what to say. But it definitely tasted like a Radler. It tasted like somebody had spiked it with lemonade, basically.
Mad.
It was very un-Weissbier-like and not very good. And I'm surprised by that because Erdinger is sort of, I think globally, one of the best-selling so-called Weissbiers. But the Germans clearly don't think so. And the isotonic refreshment thing is definitely true of the low-alcohol Erdinger, and they tried to push that for a long time. Like, they even used to sponsor like marathons and stuff and give it to runners as they finished. The last thing I want is something that gassy after a long run, but... they went for it. But yeah, the original, not really a Weissbier, and I will never be ordering an Erdinger in my life again. Off the back of that. Yes. But I will be drinking all the Andex, and I know that my local, the beer shop, have it in stock pretty regularly. And I tell myself, every time I have a Hef and I go, this is incredible, I never then drink Hef. But this time's going to be different. Yeah, I had a Hef last night. Actually, I bought 2 Hackashaw cans.
Did you? Lovely.
Yeah, just added 2 just to get the free shipping. And so yeah, I've had a Hef since, and I'm going to have more Hefs, and so should everybody.
I noticed a lot of people, Johnny. We should all be drinking Hefs. Agreed. Sorry, a lot of people are saying you forgot Gutmann, and that Gutmann's the best. Gutmann. That's comments I'm seeing everywhere.
Yeah, it reminds me of when we did the triples and everybody's like, oh, you haven't included Degar.
Yeah.
So I have had Gutmann Hefeweizen. I do believe it was very, very, very good. But again, yeah, I couldn't get hold of it in the UK, and I hope that we can, if we do get hold of it, maybe we'll do the same that we did with Degar when we got hold of it. We'll put it against Andex in a video. And maybe we could have a proper discussion, you and me, about why Hefeweizens aren't... Why Hefeweizens, it's a bit like black IPA, in that everybody online is like, I love them, why don't breweries make them anymore? And the breweries say because nobody drinks them. And then the people that said I love black IPA go like, yeah, I haven't had one for a year. Well, this is why nobody brews it. So we could have that discussion over some delicious Gutmann.
Yeah, I'd like to try some Gutmann. I'm not sure I've had it, but from the comments, I need to, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, so these beers, like there's lots of speciality Bavarian and specifically Franconian beers, used to come in from an importer called Elite Beers, but I believe it recently went under, and I was told this is not a fact, this is industry rumour, because it was always a bit grey market. I'm not sure the breweries knew that this stuff was coming into the UK. And I believe that also HMRC wasn't entirely aware that these beers were coming into the UK. Right. And that might be why he's gone under, because suddenly a big HMRC bill came in.
Christ. Yeah, pay your bills, guys.
But I don't know that's for sure. If it's not, it's still a fun story.
Yeah. Do you still... Ophir Likes Beer said, do you still like bananas, mate? After all of that lot.
I had a banana this morning.
Yeah. So
I haven't eaten a clove since, though.
Yeah, they're not that Moorish cloves, are they? Whereas I think a banana is pretty good.
Do you know, I will say, actually, another reason why I think Hefeweizens don't get drunk a lot is because also, I don't know where you go after a Hef.
Yeah.
What do you drink next?
It's hard, isn't it? Maybe do you drink a lager to cut through it, cut back. Back to refreshing, but also thinner somehow. Yeah,
you'd need something to cut through it because it does linger.
It sure does. Bananas though, bananas are great, aren't they? And banana flavored things are good. Folks. They're good. They are good though, aren't they? I remember as a kid, my favorite flavor milkshake was banana.
I agree.
As a kid,
yeah.
It's just really great, even if it's like
banana medicine.
Yeah, like fake banana-y flavour is, powdery banana is still mate. Good. Yeah, it's good, isn't
Hook it to my veins.
It is good stuff. They don't really make banana ice cream. I don't think I've ever had banana ice cream, but that would be good, I reckon. Yeah.
There must be. Surely Ben and Jerry's have done like a banoffee something.
Oh, yeah. It's usually teamed with toffee, though,
Surely.
isn't it? That's the thing. It's usually got that caramelly sort of vibe with it as well.
Yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that's a bad combo. I'm just saying I don't remember ever seeing a banana-flavoured ice cream marketed.
Well, if you folks out there see it, let us know. And Brad will maybe buy it.
There's always money in the banana stand, Johnny.
Yeah.
Banana ice creams.
We don't get frozen bananas either, do we?
No.
Don't really see that. Well, maybe that was the joke. Maybe you don't really get it in the States either.
Yeah, I remember when there were three of us, Johnny, in the channel. We had Jim as well at the start. Shout out, Jim.
For the first year. Tops.
Yeah. He used to have a drink every morning, which was frozen bananas that he'd blend up with, I think, oats and honey and stuff as well, and yogurt. I think he said.
So you'd have a banana smoothie.
Yeah, banana smoothie. But this is
that's what we call them, Brad.
Many years ago, though.
I'm sure lots of people have banana smoothies.
I always wondered, Johnny, if he left the skins on, but I'm guessing he would have peeled them and then frozen them, because he'd have to be a maniac not to have done it in that order. You wouldn't want to try and peel a frozen banana.
Peel a frozen banana.
No.
No, I mean, we've stayed relatively on topic for this podcast, but you did find a way.
Just a little bit at the end there.
Never try to peel a frozen banana. A lesson for life, I think. Right, that's all we've got time for this week. So we are off. Well, I am off next week. I am going to Cornwall. It looks like it's going to be sunny, but not that warm. But I'm okay with that.
Dude, down there, microclimate, you're going to be fine. It's going to be absolutely banging, I reckon.
You reckon?
Yeah.
You're calling out BBC News and MetCheck and saying, no, you're wrong.
Yeah, I am. I'd say pack the sun cream, get the boonie hats on, whatever they're called, the fishing hats, and get some of that white sun cream stuff on your nose, the real hardcore stuff like they wear in
Cricket
Aussie.
Style.
Yeah. It's going to be a banger. Belter.
I'll be the only person in Cornwall doing that. So, no video or podcast next week, but we will be back with a bang the week after. So we should have, if the beer arrives on time, we should be tasting the first of our collabs for the festival on the channel. I've edited our brewery day with Two Friends right down, and all I need to do is insert the beautiful tasting onto it, and we'll have that video for you. The hop video that we talked about extensively last week, I did get cold feet. I think it needs a slight rethink, a slight re-edit.
Yeah.
But it will still be released. It just needs a bit more formatting. It's a bit too waffly at the moment.
Nebulous.
So that will come. That was also time to be with the hop harvest, but clearly that's probably not going to happen. Stay tuned for that. But we'll be back in 2 weeks with the Two Friends video, probably a Friday 5 p.m, possibly recorded from the venue, because we will be setting up.
Damn, yeah.
For Love and Beer
setting up
2.
And you've sort of promised we might be doing a little bit of a drink on Friday night as well for peeps, maybe.
Yes. Folks, if you are headed to London for the festival and you are coming a day early, or indeed you live in London or nearby, we are possibly planning to have a little social at Pressure Drop on the Friday night. Because we'll be in town anyway, and we'll have earned a drink after a day of setting stuff up. So I will confirm that that's happening, and they should indeed have our West Coast IPA collab, the Double Pale Fire, on that night. Yeah. So I will confirm that when I'm back from holiday.
Yes.
But if you've got no plans for that Friday, keep it free for now. In fact, you could probably just go anyway, because I'm sure there will be Craft Beer Channel fans there anyway. But hopefully we'll be able to make it as well. So that's everything. Tickets for the festival are still available at the link in the podcast description and all over our socials. If you haven't seen the Hefeweizen video, that link is in the podcast description as well. And otherwise, I'll see you sunburned and relaxed in 2 weeks' time. Love and beer. The Bubble and Friday 5pm podcasts are brought to you by the nerds behind YouTube's Craft Beer Channel. You can watch over 400 mini documentaries at youtube.com/the Craft Beer Channel, and if you love what we do, support us via Patreon and get access to merchandise and our amazing Discord forum, a positive and welcoming space for everyone who loves beer, food and homebrewing. Love and beer.